In the second installment of Tips for Providing Your Designer with Helpful Feedback, we'll begin by discussing fear and asking questions. Fear often keeps us from asking questions. Don't let it. Many people don't want to ask their designer questions for fear of annoyance. It's actually the opposite. If you're wondering why your designer did something, chances are that there's a reason behind their design decision. It's as easy as asking. Asking gives us the opportunity to explain our rationale. We love it when you do this, and maybe you'll learn something. Questions show that you value our opinion, you respect what we do, you are invested in your project, and you care about the outcome. A bad thing to do would be to look at your proof and wonder why your designer did something, hoping that they'll notice by your attitude that you don't like it. Instead of that, you could ask your designer, usually the headline goes at the top of the page. Why'd you put it in the middle? That would help us both. Another tip to provide your designer with helpful feedback and get the best design possible is to keep your purpose in mind. We all have preferences. No one's questioning that. It's easy to get caught up in likes and dislikes. We need to remember, however, that this project is not for you, per se. While this may sound insensitive and untrue, what matters is the end goal. What's the purpose of this piece? If the purpose of this piece is to sell a product, then you need to keep in mind who you're selling it to. It doesn't really matter if you like it, it matters if your audience does. Often, a project is for them. An example of bad feedback here would be to directly put up a fuss and say, I don't like that color, let's change it. Helpful feedback would be to explain what you don't like about it and provide an alternative suggestion. For example, you could say, that bright blue is nice, but it's kind of juvenile. My audience is more mature. Can we go with a more navy color? The final tip for providing your designer with helpful feedback is to be polite. Designers are used to receiving feedback. It comes with the territory. And yes, some of it's negative. Negative feedback is expected and acceptable as long as it's direct, honest, and polite. We wouldn't get better if we never received negative feedback. But please keep in mind, designers are people too. And design is self-expression, even if it's done for someone else. Opening work up for criticism is a vulnerable process. So be sensitive when giving feedback. Be thoughtful in the way criticism is framed. Constructive criticism is helpful. Personal insults are upsetting. Be aware of what you say. Treat others as you would want to be treated. When giving feedback, a lot of time people only focus on what's incorrect or what they don't like. After all, this is a chance to make corrections. And while it's not wrong to give the changes that you want to be made, positive feedback is important too. Positive feedback gives us examples of what you like so that we continue moving in the right direction, or keep that in mind for future projects. Plus, we're like you. We like compliments. Positivity helps keep us in our relationships healthy. An example of bad feedback here would be to say in a snide, snarky, and demeaning tone, your idea of femininity does not look feminine to me. Conversely, you could say, I understand why you chose those colors, and I think they work great for targeting the right audience. However, could we try colors similar to ones in the attached image? I would like to make this flyer appeal to more upper-class women. What do you think? When you receive feedback, what are the most helpful comments you give or receive? Please comment with any thoughts or insights. If you want to design yourself, but need to know how to use the right software, check out the link to my course, Learn Affinity Publisher, below. For more tips and tricks, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and stay creative.